Hey, kia ora koutou whānau. Welcome back to Big Hairy News. Welcome.
Oh, I've lost you. Someone's frozen. Is it me? Is it you?
Chewie. Oh, okay. Hello?
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 Have you got me?
Yeah, I got you. What's going on?
Okay. You got real choppy and you froze up for a bit. This is Ilva.
Yeah, you can blame me.
Ilva doesn't like being on the podcast and wants to run away. So I'm going to leave him now. Here you go. Where you go? Hi!
Fixed?
Oh, I've lost you again.
Me. I fixed it.
Is it you?
Oh.
No, it's...
Oh, what's going on? Oh. What is this? Is it me? Is it you? It's me? Oh, come on, guys. What's going on? What? No. Stay on page. Stay. Head stage. Hello? Fix my audio. Okay. Well, thanks. I don't know where Wookie's gone. Wookie's gone. Wookie's disappeared. Okay. I'm here. I don't know what happened to Chewie. He's been sucked into the ether. Well, well, anyways, hi guys, welcome to the stream. Cool. No, Pat is confirmed real good. Chewie's disappeared. He got sucked out. I assume he'll come back. Clearly, things are going well because you can all see and hear me. So go. Hi. Chewie? Is this a Chewie? Chewie? Chewie confirmed. Things seem to be working okay. Oh well. Internet issues. We got an exciting night for you guys tonight. We've got a special exclusive interview by yours truly.
Yo.
Hello. Welcome.
What's up? Thank you.
Not much. I'm just breaking the internet.
Yeah, I was just watching the start of it. Hang on. Something's wrong here. Something's very, very wrong. I've got you. You're fine.
No.
This is the thing that's wrong. Ready? This thing. Yeah. There you go.
There we go. That makes more sense.
All is well. But actually, I should probably just say, whilst people look at me now, I'm by myself. I'm not. People think I'm bald. I'm not actually bald. It's just a choice. Here we go. Howdy do?
Hey.
It's a choice for some people, Pat. It's a choice for some people.
Yeah. How's everyone?
Good.
I'm good. Nobody cares about us. Pat, how are you?
I keep seeing both of you guys disappearing, and I'm like, okay, so I'm on honeymoon, but maybe I'm hosting the show. Is that the vibe?
We got there eventually.
No, I'm real good. It's been real good. I'm having fun. I'm forgetting which day of the week it is. I keep having to say, what day is it? A Tuesday? Which means you're on holiday, which is nice. And spent some time at the treaty grounds today. It was an absolute blast. Managed not to get burnt at all. Probably was up there for 3 or 4 hours yesterday, probably 5 hours today, and probably going to be there 5 hours tomorrow. Going to go to the aim is to get to the politicians' porphyry, because then, of course, primarily I want to see Seymour get spoken to. That's why I'm going. And then later in the day, have been invited to the Labour Party supporters get together. And so hopefully I'm going to grab Chippy for a bit there, and then see if we can get a bit more things on tape from us and get him to tell us some stuff.
Nice. Very, very cool.
Yeah, but it's been good.
Sounds like an
And
exciting
as you can see, I'm
time.
in my smoking chair. Not that I'm smoking, but that's what I'm in now. Yeah, what's been
So
going on?
what's
Everything good? Sorry, here you go.
You go, Chewie.
I was just saying, what's the vibe up there at the moment? Like,
Yeah, it's real chill.
that's the
It's
main
real
thing.
good. Yeah, it's real nice. I'm sure tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. there'll be a bit of argy-bargy, I could imagine. But it's super chill, eh? We've been through, like down on the lower marae, Titi Marae is where the kind of markets are. So we've been there every day and had a look around. There's just food and clothes, and it's awesome. And then through up into the, I guess the upper marae, the main marae, the meeting house. There's another market up there, and everyone's just super chill. Meeting people again that we saw yesterday, and all still remembering who we are and saying good day, just locals and stuff. It's just it's a good time for sure.
Nice. Sounds fun.
Yeah, so I thought I'd jump in
I-
because there seemed to be no hosts at one stage, so I thought there'd better be at least one host.
Yeah, we
I'll
got there
jump in. Look,
eventually.
there goes Emily again. There goes Chewie again on my end. It's great fun, actually.
I do have a present for you, seeing as you're
yeah.
Pat.
Oh yeah.
I had a look at the old Patreon numbers, and I knew this was a bit of a present that you wanted when you got back. But
yeah,
it's not bad.
Oh, 400.
Yeah. I think when we said let's try and get to 100 in a couple of months, I think it was about mid threes. So I can go back and have a look. So we're probably 2/3 of the way there to that 100 extra target. But yeah, look, amazing. Like I still look at American podcasts doing what we're doing, who have 2, 3, 4 times the subscribers, and they have a quarter of the patrons. So it really does genuinely blow my brain. It's amazing.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for your support on that one. We've been pushing hard for you.
Yeah,
more.
and then got a bit of an exclusive today with Marama. Was walking up a track to go up to the meeting house, and Chloe was walking the other way back to me. And Chewie, me and you were thinking about this. Will sort of the BHN vibe have been flowing around? Will people know? And I'm walking towards her, and I saw who it was, and she just goes, "Hey, meeting in real life." So that was cool. And then I got that photo, which I think I put up on Blue Sky as well, around some other places, and then cruised up to the top and ran into Marama. And I'd been texting Marama last night saying, what would be the chances? And she went, well, if we can make it work, let's do it. And she actually made, do you want 5 minutes now? And I'm like, yep, that'll be great. So we did it. And then they're the other one there. There's that's just 2 cool kids hanging out there talking stuff. You can see we're in deep philosophical conversation there. I look like I'm 9 feet tall for some freaking reason. I'm not entirely sure.
You are very tall, though.
Happened there. But I look like a giant. I'm not sure why, but I'm. Yeah, I think I was on an upslope, and she was on a bit of a downslope because we were on a path. So yeah, that's disproportionate. And then I also was walking, kind of going back to the car, and I see Tamitha Paul, and I'm like, and she walked past me, and I walked past her. And she's young and vibrant, and she's wearing a cool dress, and she's looking cool. And I went, and I turned around, and as I turned around to kind of, how you point when you think, was that just? She was doing exactly the same thing, and I went, Tamitha, yeah. And we caught up as well, and she said, don't eat the taniwha burgers. That's the only piece of advice I've had about the markets. Stay away from the taniwha burgers, because apparently they gave them a bit of a dicky stomach last night. So free word to all the people at Waitangi. Taniwha burgers might need to be something to avoid. And saw the Kingitanga porphyry today. and it was wicked,
Nice.
man. We've sent the video through. I'm not sure if that video is up on YouTube or whatever, but we put that through. And something that I really noticed. Sorry to take over the show, guys, but something that I'm used to it. This is sort of my vibe. Something that I noticed. I was at the Kingitanga and I was looking around, kind of playing spot the white fella, and I went, this is not touristy. And 90% of the people around us, like standing outside the rope, were Māori. Kids, obviously from school, had their uniforms on, sitting at our feet. When the chants and the waiata was going on, people standing beside us were saying the same words and singing along with it. And I went, yeah, this is not a tourist attraction. Like that particular event, the Kingitanga, it was like this is serious stuff for these guys, and they're doing it seriously. And it was just a little bit of a ding, because we think about going to Waitangi and we think about checking out the sites and seeing that, but for the people who were watching there and then, majority of them, it's not a tourist event. It's actually part of the culture, even though it's this big festival that 80,000 people are going to come to on the 6th. So it's kind of cool.
Wow.
I've got that loaded up if anyone wants to have a quick gaze at it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure this was on TVNZ and stuff, but it's there is. We didn't use the wind socks for those ones. We just had a lot.
I managed to get around
but
it.
It's pretty.
A bit of editing.
It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Got any volume there?
Cool.
Anything going on?
Oh. Yeah, there might be some volume. How's that?
There we go.
Yeah. And this goes for a good 15 minutes, I think, isn't it, Emily? When you have 12, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Just a call and an answer and a call and an answer.
Through.
Yeah, so we kind of taped it all.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think the part that I really enjoyed was the welcoming on, which you can't really see it there, but towards
we had
the
media
end,
standing in front of us, unfortunately, but that was so we had to kind of go around.
when you showed it on the big screen, it was quite obvious how.
Did the big screen right at the end, but.
Oh, where are you? Big screen. Where are you? Oh, can't find it. But yes, there was a big screen which could have showed everyone coming through, which is quite cool. So.
Yeah.
But did you say you're putting the full thing on Patreon?
Yeah, I've actually just put the full thing on Patreon just before I came in here.
Oh, nice.
I actually don't know whether I even hit submit, but it'll either be there now or it'll be there 5 minutes after I get off this because, patrons, we love you. And then I don't know, have you put it on YouTube yet, Ian?
I will.
Or we'll just do it tomorrow or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So patrons will have it in a minute if you don't have it already, and anybody else can have it shortly as well. It's pretty cool, guys. It's this might have to be a yearly thing. We might have to figure out things a bit more clearly next year, guys, and figure out what to do because this is.
Well, we tried to make it work. Hey, Pat, we tried, and I couldn't get it to go for me, and so the whole day, as you've been sending pictures of you just randomly, casually running into Chloe, casually just bumping into Marama, I'm just like, oh, cool. This is great. I'm having a really good time. I'm stoked though, but yes, we should make another attempt.
We should really figure it out. 100%. I mean, 100%. Yeah, they've got a billboard up here for Aotearoa Radio that fucking features Sean Plunkett. So if his face is on the ground somewhere, then we should probably be here.
His face should be on the ground.
So yeah, no, I think this is really important. And I mean, I've been to Waitangi before, but this is the first time to Waitangi for Waitangi. And I mean, if we can make this a regular thing, then I think we bloody well should because it's worth it. And it's just worth catching up with people and running into people. I've caught up with numerous people. I'm jumping off the ferry over at Russell 2 days ago, and Raywin, I think it was. Pat Pat, from the telly. I'm like, because that's obviously she watches it on the telly, but I'm not from. It's a weird thing to think. Like listen to the podcast. I was going to say Llewellyn, begins with L. Guy ran into in Whangarei. He was just charging his EV, Chewie, and he goes, "Do you have a podcast?" No, yeah. So it's if it's happening around the place, it's nice to run into people, but it's just nice to be here as well. It's actually worked out because we were going to be doing something potentially with Radio Wati and stuff, and that sort of all fell over. But I'm actually quite glad it did, because I'm able to go, and that Marama thing just happened off the cuff. She was there. She said, "Let's do it." We did it. We're not media. We're just spectators, but people are welcoming us on board enough to actually do a few things, which is pretty cool. Which is why I said tomorrow I'll do my best to try and get Chippy, and see if we can grab him for 5 minutes as well.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
So that's it. That's it from me. Anything else you guys want to know or need to know? Are you back now? Actually, in the studios doing the shows. You're not going to cut out again. I can leave you guys.
No, I think we're good now. I don't know
so.
what went on my end, but yeah, just good timing.
Yeah.
If there's anything else you want to know, let us fire away now. So I might leave you guys to it. You can check out Marama and all the other stuff. In fact, I think I was talking to Chloe when she brought up the bush, and to be real fair, you keep an eye on everything, but I'm not deep in the weeds on those things this time. But she's like, what you expect when it comes to what they're doing to the place. I put out a tweet today, I think, about the school lunches, and there's a report today that school lunches are not being delivered to some schools, or if they are, they're turning up at 4 p.m. And so I just put out a tweet that said something like, perfect example of what this government's about. We'll promise the world, we'll deliver literally nothing. So yeah, I'm sure it's all. I'm sure the government's all as bad as they were a week and a half ago when I was in there in the studio. But I'll catch up on some of the finer details when I get back to Dunedin.
You're not missing much. Oh.
Well, we'll let you get back to. It's not your smoking chair, Pat. Someone in the comments called it your koro chair.
I'll tell you something else. Seriously, someone called me Papa Pat on one of my tweets today, and I don't know how I feel about that from you guys. I'm not entirely sure that's
it wasn't me.
Pat.
It wasn't me.
It was
Papa Pat, and it was Magenta.
Well, that seems to have flowed on to the general audience, and I've been called it today about being at Waitangi. So thanks, guys. Appreciate that one heaps.
I said Papa, not Papa. Different generation.
All right, guys. Well, I'll leave you to it. Have a good night. Enjoy Marama. She was awesome, and I'll be in touch tomorrow. See what else we can get for you.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. All the best.
Cheers, man.
Bye, Pat.
Bye, Pat.
Bye, Pat.
Bye, Pat.
Bye, Pat.
There we go.
I think you're trying to get
out. Speaking of the school lunches, I did see a good comparison there. There we go. Look at that appetizing stuff. I wouldn't feed that to my dog.
Would you like some insider information about them?
So, yes. Okay.
Top left looks disgusting. Apparently, it was really good. Apparently, that's like a sweet mashed potato carrot thing. The other ones weren't that bad. It's just that top right one, I think. He said that the rice and the meat were fine, but he didn't understand why the cheesy, weird white sauce was there. Didn't go together, so that one today was a big thumbs down. But he did, when he's been eating them, he did come home immediately and have a giant bowl of cereal, so didn't really do much for him in terms of filling him up.
I saw someone posted up I think it was supposed to be a mac and cheese and it had rice in it. It was just like, at the most basic level, it's not macaroni. But yeah,
it's some weird mixture of things for sure.
Just contrast this, like Seymour's whole thing was the price, right? They were paying too much for it. It was like $5 to $7. We can halve that. So we've gone from locally sourced products, employing local people, delivered on time, fresh fruit and vegetables, healthy produce, all of that sort of stuff, for prison food.
Or airplane food. It was like
that's what this company is known for, is supplying meals, very cheap meals to prisons in the UK. They were caught in the past putting horse meat in there. They have done dodgy financial dealings and bribes and stuff like that overseas. That's the sort of company we want supplying food to our children. Like, imagine, like, it's one thing to say, hey, look, we're going to do lunches and plan stuff around that, and then deliver them to schools, in some cases half an hour before the schools close.
Yeah.
Now, when Labor was doing this, Seymour was banging on about wastage. How much wastage is there if they turn up at 2:30 in the afternoon? How much wastage is there if you open up the meal and are greeted with that? Straight in the bin. Like, sure, it's cheap. Is it effective? No. So then you're left with the argument of, like, see, that's what we always said. It's not worth feeding kids. The system works.
Yeah. On a slightly more positive note, shall we get to Marama and have a listen to?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sure there will be multiple chats, seeing as this is the start of the school year, about the food. I'm sure there will be multiple problems that come up, so look forward to continuing that chat. In the meantime, shall we have a listen?
Yes.
Shall we do one of these? And do one of these. Do one of these and do one of
Do
these.
one of these.
And
put some of that in there.
Kia ora.
Kia ora,
Thank you.
Pat.
And I'll chuck us
excited to
away
be
for a
back.
minute.
Yeah, I am, especially here in Waitangi,
Yeah.
and really pleased to be well and getting better each day.
And how?
And I'm ready to come back to work, but I'm also pretty clear that we need some balance, and we definitely want to prioritise well-being so I can give my best.
So the question I thought of for you last night for the BHN audience is, what was the thing during your time away that was the least helpful for your recovery? What did you see in politics that you went, and it caused stress?
Well, actually, it felt really toxic, seeing all the harmful decisions that were being made, and I actually felt almost a physical reaction to the toxic decisions that I might be scrolling, and I was trying not to, or it might be on TV.
Yeah.
And I actually felt my body getting sick. I actually felt my body responding to the harmful politics, the harmful nature of politics. And that's when I knew I actually have to step away. I'm not going to get my body well and my mind well if I'm going to stay inside the machine of the toxic political environment. So I had to step right out, and the minute I did that, it gave my body and my mind a chance to try and focus on healing.
So how does Marama 2025 differ in Parliament from Marama 2024 with that patch? Like, what do you need to do to stay well? Like,
post-cancer treatment, Marama.
We missed that. This is our second recording, so it's a bit fake, but post-cancer. We haven't said that in this conversation.
Right, yes.
No cancer.
Post-cancer treatments and being free of cancer right now has actually given me a clearer view of the importance of balance and well-being. We Pat, we don't want to be doing 3 or 4 cities in one day again. We need to protect weekends for some time.
Isn't that what Chloe's for? The youngsters can go and do that.
I don't think anyone should run themselves into the ground, and that's something I hope I can offer back to people from all of this experience. It also really highlighted, gosh, when you're having a tough time, we gravitate as humans to some solidarity. So people who have had breast cancer and their whānau have become such a huge part of my life and my healing. We create places where we can just be vulnerable, and actually we're not feeling great, and I don't want to pretend that I'm feeling great. Yeah, right? Be real. Yeah. And then you get people coming in to uplift you, to validate you feeling like crap, and to actually say it gets better, because that was one of the hardest things. There were days where I was like, is this my life now? Like, is this it? Because that was mentally depressing.
Yeah.
And knowing that you can keep getting over the bumps and the hills, it goes a long way. Yeah.
Not to get to the now depressing stuff, 2025 in politics.
Yeah.
Like Greens looking forward.
Yep, totally.
Like, what do you need to achieve? What do you need to stop?
Great question. So, coming through breast treatments and the value of community and connection and relationships, that's politics that we are building too.
Yeah.
The focus on relationships between communities, for example, on Te Tiriti, we have seen people of all walks of life uniting and coming together, sharply wanting to protect Te Tiriti. Those community relationships, those community movements are where the Greens know the power to get this anti-Te Tiriti government out. That's where the power really lies.
So the objective is one-term government?
Oh, absolutely. They're so harmful. Like even one term is too much.
Okay.
It's too
well,
harmful.
Winston's never survived a full term in opposition, so he might be the answer for less than a full term, maybe.
I think the answer is the people realising the power they have.
Yeah.
The people across the communities realising that they actually have the choice, they have the power to have a politics of care, which is what the Greens have always offered.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the answer is.
Amazing. Lovely to see you, like
You too,
in real life,
Pat.
but also up and around. And here, we're so excited about the weekend / honeymoon.
It's a place to be, right?
Totally.
Oh,
totally.
congratulations to you and Andrea. Oh, no, seriously, this is an
you.
important issue. Congratulations, and what a beautiful place to come and celebrate.
And so welcoming. Already meeting locals down on the waterfront, seeing them again today.
They're really proud about bringing the nation, bringing the country here from all across Aotearoa.
Except for Mr. Luxon.
Yeah, and he's not showing up. He's not the person for the job. You got to front the people. Yeah, but the Kainga here, they are so proud of welcoming people.
Yeah.
They have a big job to do. Look at the thousands they have to try and manage,
80,000, I
feed
reckon.
and care for, and driving and traffic and toilets, all of the things. Year after year after year, they do it with aroha. They do it no matter what toxic politics is happening, and they are here with nothing but manaaki.
Thanks for giving us a couple of
minutes.
minutes.
Thank you, Pat.
The BHN crew a couple of minutes.
Thank you, the BHN audience and whānau and community.
And
Kia
we'll
ora.
talk through 2025.
Kia ora.
How good was
Amazing
that?
What an absolutely amazing human being.
Oh no, that is cool. I am very glad that Marama is back. I heard in that interview the answers to the questions I had the other night about I hope she's backing herself and she's giving herself space and not just completely front loading stress into her life. It sounds like she's well squared away. So that is awesome to hear.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry about the sound at the beginning. I'm slowly getting there. There's lots of buttons to press and sometimes. But I will upload the full thing to YouTube. So if you do want to, I'll probably do it for tomorrow's lineup. So yeah, if you want to watch the full thing again or share it around, we'll have that ready to pass around. Not bad. Oh, I've missed one bit of housekeeping because Pat interrupted. He did mention the other day as well. What are we at? Wednesday, Thursday, maybe. He did say if you ordered a sticker this week, you will get a free buffer sticker as well. So head over to the BHN shop if you'd like to get one of those before Waitangi Day. It might not arrive. It might arrive, but even still, it's great to have one of those on your bumper. You want a buffer bumper, a bumper buffer, a bumper buffer. Buffer bumper.
I did see someone driving around Dunedin the other day with our buffer sticker on their bumper and a couple of Tēnā Rangatira flags on the wing mirrors. So that's very much the energy that we want to bring into this part of the year. Yeah,
for sure. And there seems to be a lot of despite the negatives that have been in the last 3 or 4 months, seems to be a lot of real positives coming out of this year's Waitangi celebrations. I don't know if it's just because I'm paying a lot more attention or there actually is a little bit more coverage this year than usual, but it seems to be quite, quite a lot.
I think it is the paying attention part of it. Because, I mean, when I think back to all the coverage over Waitangi. It has traditionally been around politicians. You know, Don Brash having dirt chucked at him, all of this sort of stuff. That's the stuff that gets the cut through. And so people get the sense that the whole thing is just incredibly contentious, and the back and forth between Māori and the government. And I think that is definitely part of it, but it's nowhere near the whole thing. Like the realization that you know, up in Waitangi, this is a week-long thing.
Yeah.
But all the mass media focuses on the one day that politicians are there and are doing politics. And I think that does a disservice to the hosts, to the idea behind the whole thing. But most importantly, and this is why I asked Pat, it does a disservice to the vibe. Like I've had friends who've gone up and gone, "Oh, this is absolutely not what I thought it was."
Yeah.
And it should be more important to us. You know, our founding document was signed there. It's an incredibly important thing. That's why we're all arguing about it now. So why is Waitangi not more of a pilgrimage, for lack of a better word, for all New Zealanders? I do not know. I am seriously very disappointed that I didn't get to go this year through some pretty scrambled planning and a clash with a couple of other things. But all going well. Hopefully I'll be there next year. But it looks amazing. I really want to be part of it.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even know about the sort of markets and stuff like that too. I don't know if he said it just before if I was talking to him on the phone, but all the markets that are there and the you know, selling of clothes and the selling of food and stuff, which is really cool. So it's obviously
well,
a bit more like
obviously Pat has absolutely destroyed trade for one market. Nobody's going to be getting the Taniwha burger from the sound of it. So that's not great.
Yeah.
So there you go. Right wing watchers, clip that. BHN destroys local business.
Hey, wasn't Pat. It was Tamitha. We are racking up some super chats, so let's try and get through these. Mr. Arvids for $2. Damn you, Nintendo DS. DS.
I love
the
the
initials.
no context.
Yeah, no, that's I
I
think that's
yeah, actually there.
Yeah, it's Magenta's lovely little nickname. It's great. Kiwi Bear for $2. Did the Atlas Network break Chewie's camera again? I think they broke everything, just the whole stream, sadly. Peter for $2 said, I blame Elon. Everyone's after us.
Fair. Evergreen comment, always appropriate.
Mr. Harvard's $2. Chewie? I have been saying Chewie. Specified individual $5. Late fee, sorry team, not long got home and got sucked into procedurals for 20 minutes. It's okay. Thanks for joining us. Always put us on.
Tangential question, Ems. What is your favourite procedural TV show?
What is a procedural TV show?
Oh, okay. Like hospital dramas or cop dramas, you know, Special Victims Unit, Grey's Anatomy, all of those sort of programs. Do you watch one of those?
Oh.
See, mine is The Rookie with Nathan Fillion.
Oh, do you mean a drama or do you mean a real life one?
No, like definitely like it's a dramatized sort of thing.
Did you say The Rookie?
The Rookie. It's got Nathan Fillion in it.
Fillion. Yeah. Yes, I have started watching that.
Love that show.
I think I saw a short or something and I was like, oh, this is a little bit different. And he was like kind of an average cop. No, it wasn't bad. I didn't carry on with it, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah. 7 seasons of quite enjoyable propaganda for the LAPD, but I do enjoy it.
Jesus, 7. I was really enjoying New Amsterdam. But then because they weren't putting them all onto Netflix and they were doing some of it was on Neon and then some of it wasn't up to date. This is so annoying. Can you just put it on one platform? And like the times that they were putting them on was just too long in between. But I really enjoyed New Amsterdam. It's probably the other one that I've watched quite a bit of. Yeah.
Tangent time.
Now I know what a procedural is. Now I want to know what procedural. I can't even say the word. You were watching. Right. The next stories on my list, as hinted to, is the Bish. The Bish makes a return for the year.
Oh, this motherfucker.
Yeah, this motherfucker. He is pivoting Kainga Ora from being a housing builder to a landlord. Everyone's favorite thing. Even the part about selling houses and flipping houses and all that sort of stuff as well. So really up in his game. But the main takeaway from this is Kainga Ora turnaround plan. They're going to look to sell 200 homes in Auckland that are each for about $2 million. Because they say it's a better use of money than them having it. But don't let me explain it. Let the Bish himself do the talking. Eh? Let's see what he has to say for himself. Hopefully you can hear it. Yes? Yay! Go!
To reduce its debt and deficit, a plan which narrows the housing agency's scope to focus more on being a landlord and less on building new social homes.
The turnaround plan refocuses Kainga Ora on its core purpose of being a good social landlord and improving its operating performance, reducing losses and capping debt at an acceptable level.
Bishop sacked most of its...
Yeah! So he's becoming the landlord of the nation.
Fucking hell. Well, Jesus. The
next part he gets absolutely roasted by the journalist. Which I
Oh,
appreciate.
fantastic. Like it's fine. Like Kainga Ora should be a landlord, correct? That is part of their remit. The other part of it is building houses. We have not yet scratched the surface of our housing crisis. The housing crisis that National themselves last time at the wheel denied even existing for like 3 years. So no, if he's talking about turning something around, how about turn that around? Like when we don't have anybody sleeping rough overnight, then you can stop building houses. That's like, I do think when he's talking about the landlord thing, I do think there needs to be a little bit of give and take here. There were so many stories about other Kainga Ora tenants having to put up with disruptive, abusive other tenants that didn't seem to be able to be moved. And there did seem to be a little bit of like, oh, I don't know what, we've tried nothing, but we're all out of ideas. Versus the big swing over to National, which is like, well, fuck him, get him out. You know, no warning. I don't care what happens to you from here. There needs to be a middle ground there that I don't think anybody's found. But yes, Kainga Ora should build houses. That is part of their remit.
Let's continue on for a wee bit. I did like this comment.
Reducing losses and capping debt at an acceptable level.
Bishop sacked most of its board after a highly critical probe into the agency, led by Sir Bill English. Now the agency will wind back its construction, focusing on renewing older housing stock.
From mid-2026 onwards, the total number of homes we own will stabilise at around 78,000, unless, of course, the Minister instructs Kainga Ora to add to our housing stock.
Home renewals will be funded by house sales, notably of high-value homes in Auckland.
Kainga Ora owns around 200 houses worth over $2 million each. Frankly, a much better use of that money and the Crown capital is to divest from some of those high-cost, high-value homes.
But the opposition says the plan
just gets cut off at the end of there. Divest from that to what?
To what? Yeah, and look, this is a really tricky argument from him because it does sound like a good idea. It does sound like there's a whole bunch of money tied up in a couple of properties, and maybe this government department could use that money somewhere else to house more people. But he doesn't say that part. He says, we've identified some properties worth some significant amount of money, so we're going to sell them. Not redevelop them. We're going to get these poors away from the people in the suburb that is now worth something. We don't know where they're going to go. Yeah. And I mean, this is a constant argument. There's no real way to solve this. If you try and scatter social housing around places, you will piss people off. But the thing is, the alternative is concentrate all your social housing in the same place and create potentially slums if you do it badly.
Well, that
you can
almost
segues
perfectly into another thing I've got to show you. But
look, fantastic! You know, like there are like here in Dunedin, there's big suburbs that were all state housing suburbs. I live by one, Brockville or Corstorphine. And they were quite well planned. They'd have schools. Like I grew up in one in Timaru, in the Markwell area. And some of them were incredibly well planned. There was parks, there were schools, there was amenities, all of that sort of thing, because that was the big state doing big planning type stuff. But if you don't keep it up, then it can plummet really quickly. How good was my segue? I want to see now.
Oh, it was one clip too soon. You've almost.
Oh, I've preempted it. Anyway, I'm glad that guy with the supermarket trolley. He'll be stoked that those $2 million properties are being sold.
My only comment was, if they kept the properties, they could leverage the $2 million that they're worth, and they could use that money to build. I don't know. It probably doesn't even cost like $500,000, $1 million to build like 6 of those townhouses on it. Done. 6 new homes that they can then use, and they still have a $2 million asset. And if they do that, then they've got a $2.5 million asset that they can sell after that if they have to.
Well, that's the whole argument that they're going, oh, Kainga Ora spent too much and we're too leveraged. They're a huge property owner. Like owning property is never a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like so,
at least they plan to plummet
so
it.
why is the government stressing about this? Like it's bought the land. That's done. It's only going to go up in value. All they need to do is fucking build on it. The development that was going to be down the road from me, cancelled. I think there's 3 other developments in Dunedin alone that have been cancelled. That like it's 158 houses gone at this point. Like, and he's talking about maintaining the housing level, not increasing it, maintaining it. Get rid of the old stock. Do some renovations, build new places, but keep the level about the same. That's not solving a crisis, Bish. It's not fixing it.
Sadly not. Here's a quick wee bit on the stats around this as well.
There are more than 20,000 applicants on the housing register, while more than 100,000 people are experiencing homelessness in New Zealand. Most of them, nearly 44%, are in Auckland.
Kainga Ora has also taken a much...
Which is where all the houses are that they want to sell.
Can you wind back to the numbers there?
Yeah, go for here. There you go.
Cool. So Bish does his press conference and turns around and says, we're going to build 125,000 homes. That I have instructed Kainga Ora to build 125,000 homes, and 40+% of it is going to be in Auckland. Cool. Problem solved. Why haven't you done it?
Let's just say, for example, that they don't sell the 200 homes that are in Auckland, worth $2 million, and on each of those, let's just assume they're all state houses that have, maybe a subsectioned off and made it into 2. If you times that by 6, because I'm really bad at math, so I don't make like a fool. That's 1,200 homes that they could build. And if we look at the size of those sections that they were showing off in some of those clips, They're massive.
Yeah,
They
so
could-
that's the standard, right? When people talk about the New Zealand quarter-acre paradise, that is because that's what a lot of state houses were built on.
Mhm.
A quarter acre of land. Because one person would be working, maybe, and you can have a garden. You can grow your own veggies. Don't do that now because you can't survive unless both people are working. But that's what it was. It was productive land. That's so dumb.
But imagine
So dumb.
how many apartments if you could do townhouses. Look how many you could build on there.
Yep.
Now let's give it to a rich person who's going to probably subdivide it and then I don't know, turn it into a $2.53 million.
I mean, it's crazy. I go up the road here to Brockville, and yeah, it's all state housing. It's all a planned state suburb that was built in the late 60s. All the houses are kind of the same, but they're not all the same. And a lot of them are now privately owned because in the 80s, the same sort of thing. Divest, sell all of them. You know, I grew up in a state house that my parents had bought. So I mean, we've had a massive sellout of state houses over the last 30, 40 years. But those houses up the road from me, one of the things is, look, they might not be flash houses, right? But they have phenomenal views over the city. And so now you have people buying old state-owned sections, and like it's still got a reputation as being a rough neighborhood. And parts of it are rough, but I tell you what else it's got. It's got a good sense of community up there.
Mm.
And that's something that can come out of those neighborhoods as well. A sense of everybody's dealing with the same shit. You know, and that's one of the upsides of building a community around social housing. You know, but I think there's huge benefits in not concentrating social housing all in the same place.
Segued, I love it.
Yes, undefeated.
Yeah. Comes back around. This is a friend of a Kainga Ora, a resident on selling state housing in Remuera. This man lives there, and this was his thoughts on the situation, which I really appreciated.
That houses like this, you have a mix within society. You don't want to have everybody just in one area. I mean, I've been to England, I've seen those big slums and high-rises. Unfortunately, they're starting to build them here too. And over in England, they're pulling them all down. So I think it's far better. I know it's costly, this is the only thing, but you have a mix within society. It mixes people up together. You can't have just poor people all put in a poor area. If those people grow up and they're so more in tune with the environment they're brought up in, they aspire to do greater things.
So well said.
I'm sure that gentleman is going to return that Woolworths basket to at his earliest convenience. Yeah, look, there is 100%, like, and again, this is something I'm going to put at the feet of all governments that we've had over the last 20 years. We should have been refreshing the social housing stock decades ago. Those houses that they showed are cold and damp and small and just poorly set out for what today's families need. You know, we should have been on top of it. But it wasn't a sexy problem to solve. It's one of those things that if you do a task, you know, you do a little bit, you know, and it's not just a big job. Everybody's put off those little things too far down the track, and now we're talking about real big numbers, and it becomes a political football at that point. You know, last time National were at the helm, I remember them demolishing entire streets in Lower Hutt, streets of houses. or they were trying to sell them off or give them away to Salvation Army or NGOs like that. And of course, when they said that they were divesting social housing to NGOs like that, that sounds great though. Those guys want the best of what's available. So it ends up the government is stuck with a whole bunch of stuff that they just bulldoze. And then those sections sat empty for years while people slept in cars and under bridges in Upper and Lower Hutt. And I don't know, Bish is a Lower Hutt MP. He knows this. He had people calling him on it at that stage. And he's doing the same thing again, just changing up the language. The end result is there are still people sleeping rough. There are still people underhoused. There are still people at the mercy of slumlords and boarding houses where they die or they burn down, or, as I've mentioned many times, you end up with someone dying next to a motorway in a tent in the middle of winter. And that is a shame on all of us. All sides of the political spectrum, because they can't put their heads together and fucking solve this. You have all the resources of government, and you can't go. How many people have we got around the country that don't have a roof over their head? Let's fix that one. That seems worthy, honourable. Maybe we should just do that. No, we'll give Simeon Brown a multi-billion-dollar transport budget because he hit a pothole once. He didn't like it. It's shameful.
Yeah. To give more context as well, so it was 200 homes that Kainga Ora owned that were worth $2 million each. But the plan includes selling about 900 older homes annually, with new builds ensuring no net reduction in state houses. Doesn't say there whether or not they'll keep it net across, or they'll go sell, build, and in the meantime you've got more people that are homeless, as opposed to maybe build,
well,
then sell,
what's the
so that at least
sensible
those
way to
people
do
can
that?
then go into the new houses, right?
What's the sensible, humane, straightforward? How would you do it, Ems?
I wouldn't
What would you do?
sell off the house. I'd build some houses first, then I'd move those people into the new houses, and then sell off the asset. But that's not what they're going to do. They're going to sell the asset.
That does sound incredidly practical and humane.
Yes.
So yeah, the government's going to do the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. That's what they're going to do. So no net reduction in state houses, but when? When they're done building them all? So they're going to sell off a bunch of houses and then missing 900 homes for people?
Meanwhile, we'll have Kieran McAnulty waiting in the wings with a steel chair when we vote these pricks out, and he'll just go, right, massive house building binge. Everybody gets issued a house at 18. There you go. Landlords are now an endangered species and will be hunted for food.
Good. So they should. Yeah, so we look forward to seeing how that develops over the next, how long have we got? 2 years? 25, 26. Fingers crossed. And see how the next government might pivot that and have to buy back a bunch of land, or develop some new land, because they sold all the land off.
And remember, for any councils that think that they could get into the game and provide social housing and that sort of thing, government is telling them to stay in their fucking lane and concentrate on their war. So, that option is closed as well. That was something that, again, with this development that's been cancelled down the road, there was a discussion here whether the council was going to buy it and put social housing on it. The government's gone, don't expect our help with that. You should not spend your ratepayers' money on that.
Fun times. Oh, should we do some super chats?
Yeah.
Mr. Hubbard's is back for $2. BHN lobby in full swing. Thanks, bruh. KiwiZD for $5. The museum at Waitangi is sensational. Everyone should make the effort to go read everything. Yes, definitely on my bucket list at some point. Need to do a North Island tour. Gotta do it.
I definitely want to see. What I want to see when I go out there is when the waka come in the morning. That looks amazing.
Apparently Chippy's going to ride one of those this week.
Oh, that's so good.
I'd love to see it. Yeah. I'd love to see it. Mata Heaps, $2. New Zealander's best podcast. He bloody should. Aww. Yeah, it's about Chippy too. Thanks. He does. It would be nice to meet him in person. Mr. Arvid's $2. My interpretation is David is worse than chemo. Oh.
Yeah, because after a round of chemo, hopefully you're better. After a round of David, you're definitely worse.
Yeah, it's very true. Kiwi Burb, $2. Marama kicked cancer. Now she can kick David.
Metaphorically,
but that does have a nice
maybe metaphorically.
Bill B, $5. $5 for some decent mics, lol. Oh. Hey, if that was about his little DJI, his little fluffy DJIs,
oh yes, no, those are good. What are you talking about? Those are good.
They were really good. Those are really, really. I want to say cheap, but no. My goodness, guys, we are popping off with the. We'll do one more. Super chats tonight. Howie V, $2. Thanks heaps. Afi Marama, all the way. Afi or Awi, depending on where you're from. I don't know. It's a dialect thing. The WH. Some dialects of Māori pronounce it as a W. Can't tell you which one, but yeah, something I learned. There you go. Something a bit different. Well, our favourite hairless leader returned to breakfast. You know, he was in the North Island. He was in Auckland. You know, decided to sit on the couch with a name who's escaped me. Name has escaped me. Really bad at names.
I'm terrible at names. I want to hear him squirm on this. Just like every time he opens his mouth about this, there should
Jenny
just
May.
be like Jenny May. Every time he like moves while he's talking about this, there should be the sound effect of trying to pull a gumboot out of thick, wet mud.
Oh, you are going to enjoy this. I think the first one's a great one to start with. Let's see what she's got a great part at the end. You know, he likes to run on his words, and she goes, "Can you just answer the question?" I'll ask it again. Alrighty.
We know that tomorrow is the day where political parties make their way on the upper marae for the pōwhiri. Why are you not even attending that?
Well, I'm down in South Island, actually working, you know, obviously some projects that my tahu's involved with. Actually going to be doing things about, we've obviously got our fast track legislation coming up at the end of this week. When you talk to iwi leaders, you know, what do they most want? They want economic growth as well. We've got 20 of those projects actually are iwi or partnered or led projects. And it's important that, you know, we're out and about across the country seeing what's going on.
The treaty
could not. I did look it up, and there is a list of projects. I could not find anything anywhere that was like celebratory of that at all from iwi and Māori.
No.
Couldn't find an article that did that at all.
The way that he's pitching that is like, oh, Jenny May, I'd love to go to Waitangi, but unfortunately, you know, I have this thing that I can't get out of, and they got in first before that I knew that Waitangi was a thing. So yeah, it's a shame. I'm just going to be down in the South Island. What a load of bullshit! Like, Kaitahu is fine, my dude. Like, they are good. I don't know why they're welcoming you on, but I don't know why they're hosting. And like, if somebody knows, please tell me. But yeah, this is like he's running. like I said the other day, I'm glad he's not going to Waitangi. It shows him for the weak, ineffectual, cowardly loser that he is. So yeah, just underline that.
It also gave David Seymour, they love their little jabs, gave him a perfect opportunity to be like, well, it's actually really because I think he's going to Waitangi. I'm pretty sure he said, even though
someone told him not to come, so
yeah,
I'm sure he is.
So then he's definitely going, just to be a real arsehole about it. But even he was like, oh, I'm a political party leader. I think it's really important that you go to Waitangi. And I'm like, oh, interesting. There's a nice little dig at your at your prime minister. But this is a coalition. Okay. Tear it apart. All right, carry on.
Principal's Bill is no doubt going to be front and centre up at Waitangi this year. You've called it divisive last year. You said that there's nothing in it that you like. So why not engage? Why not be part of that debate at Waitangi?
Well, I have. I've been at Ratana, as you're aware. I've met with iwi leaders before Christmas, a significant group in Wellington, as I said. I'm engaging with iwi leaders all the time. Our position on that issue is very clear. I think frustration and division is built up over a number of years. There is strong feeling on all sides of the treaty principles.
All sides. Again. All sides.
Yeah, man.
Whatever.
Yeah, like
we're not going to support
it's
it.
good. It's good that you're engaging with Māori, but why in this place on this week? That's the thing. Nobody's criticizing that you're talking to Kaitahu. They're criticizing why it's this week. Why when there's something else on that is quite important from a national unity point of view, that it might be good that you're there. And without you answering this question in a straight fashion, I'm just assuming it's because you don't want to write a new speech and you've already given that one twice. You don't think you can get away with it for a third time, so you're not going. Is that right? I can only assume.
Bill, we're not going to support it for a number of reasons, and it won't become law. And so, our position's pretty clear on that.
Isn't it a missed opportunity, though, to be there, be part of this?
Well, I think I've been really engaged with whether it's been Ratana, whether it's been Koronehana, whether it's been a whole bunch of other formal events. But I also do think it's important. I remember going with Bill English to Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei in his first year as Prime Minister, where he didn't go to Waitangi. And I thought it was a pretty special event. I thought it was pretty awesome, actually, seeing the conversation that took place in a place away from Waitangi as well. So those are important because Waitangi Day is celebrated across the whole of the country, and I want to be where it is.
We know that thousands marched against the TPB. We're going back to November now, right? So, and there were a record number of submissions on that particular bill. Where do Māori-Crown relations sit at the moment, do you think? And where do you want them to be?
Well, when you sit down and talk with iwi leaders, Māori across New Zealand, the single biggest thing that will make the biggest difference to them that they play back in 10 or 15 years is a much bigger, stronger economy. That is the reality of it. Māori want higher income so they can create more choices, more opportunities for their families and for themselves. Iwi leaders want to be able to manage their own land and do things on their own land that benefit their own people.
You hear that? Māori want to do with their own land what they want to do for their people. Do you think that's what the government is allowing to happen, or are they just sidestepping their idea?
Entirely? He's not wrong, but he's also not right in the way that he thinks he is. This is such a weird position to take. Like, when there's so much involved on so much Māori land is tied up in dockland as well. Right, and generally speaking, I think a lot of Māori are like a lot of iwi are like, well, as long as it's in dock hands and it's not being strip mined, we're all good with that. But yeah, that's changing. That's changing, and when so much of the core part of the Te Tiriti is around the managing of Māori resources and land and water, it's quite important as well, isn't it? We're wholesale ignoring that, and in fact, your soon-to-be Deputy Prime Minister wants to tear that up, and you don't want to be at Waitangi because you want to be as far away from being attached to the division and ugliness that your poor negotiating skills and poor political acumen has introduced into the discussion into this country. That's why you're not at Waitangi. And also, you're not going to get away with doing the same speech 3 times. Those are the reasons. You haven't said that, but we know. We know.
It keeps going.
Those are values that are very consistent with the National Party. And
that was the other bit. Making sure iwi and hapu are able to do what they want with their land is apparently part of National's values.
Iwi leaders want to be able to manage their own land and do things on their own land that benefit their own people. Those are values that are very consistent with the National Party and our government. And so when I meet, there's been a huge amount of interest and opportunity about how we can work together on things like infrastructure, on things like health, on things like education, but most importantly about how do we power up this economy. And so we've been talking a lot, even before Christmas, with iwi leaders about how do iwi actually participate with partners globally as we bring more investment into New Zealand. They are critical partners. They're some of our biggest and best business operations that we actually have in this country, and they want to participate in those kinds of opportunities. Why? Because that's actually how you create the long-term strategic wealth for Māori across New Zealand.
Yep. God, he sounds like a bloody businessman.
Isn't that good that David Luxon has solved problems for Māori? Christopher Luxon says land back, weirdly. Just super
and very consistent
strange.
with his party and his government's current views of things and current, doings of things. But I would argue against that.
Yeah, it's
somehow he brought it back to the economy of all fucking things. We're talking about the question was, how is the TPB impacted Māori Crown relations? That was the question.
It's because you know how the ear you can't see could have an earpiece in there, and there's just an intern whose whole job is just to go the economy, chuck a growth in there, the economy, through the entire interview, just to keep him on point. This is all we will hear from this man between now and the budget. This is all we will hear from Christopher Bishop between now and the budget. This is all we will hear from Simeon Brown between now and the budget. And you can damn well be sure it is all we will hear from Nicola Willis between now and the budget. It's going to be growth economy, growth economy, growth economy, growth economy, until you feel like your brain has turned to soup, because this is what works for them, that repetition. And it makes me crazy.
Oh, well, should we get the actual answer? Because Jenny May's very good at coming back to the original question.
And we're Māori doing well, New Zealand's doing well.
Yep, and and all of that makes sense. But if I go back to the question, what is the Crown Māori relationship like at the moment?
Well, I'd say, there's no doubt about it. There's been really strong points of view around the Treaty Principles Bill on all sides. I'd say over a number of years, if you think about the creation of the Māori Health Authority, 3 Waters projects under the previous administration, there's been a lot of frustration building on all sides around those issues. But there is huge areas of commonality of where we can work together. The work we've already done in the first 12 to 15 months around social housing, the work that we've done working with Māori health organisations to deliver 69,000 immunisations to Kiwis across this country. But the biggest opportunity is really, again, to make sure that we put bigger foundations into Tāo Māori, and particularly around the Māori economy, so that opportunities are created for future generations of Māori. We need to work harder, as you just talked about, around education for Māori. And that's why we've put te reo resources, like we've never done before, in to make sure we improve maths and literacy standards. Those are areas of huge collaboration.
What?
Wait, hang on.
What? What was that?
So important math and English? Wait, what?
Around education for Māori. And that's why we've put te reo resources, like we've never done before, in to make sure we improve maths and literacy standards. Those are areas of huge collaboration.
You've never done it before because you've never done it. In fact, you're still not doing it. But wasn't that the whole argument? That there was too much woke te reo and not enough maths and literacy. So we get it, like David Seymour was able to run unchallenged with the unprovable lie that he said that people were getting pulled out of maths and science lessons to do te reo. He said that several times. People asked him to prove it. He fucking couldn't because it was a fiction. They changed the curriculum to get rid of it. They haven't added funding into te reo. What an absolute...
There is proof of doing that. They got rid of the teacher program that was teaching them.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, because apparently it had anecdotal. I think it's a quote. They had anecdotal evidence that it worked. Apparently that wasn't good enough because it was qualitative data, not quantitative data, and they couldn't quantify it. They could only qualify it. And most teachers that did the program said it improved relations between themselves, Pacifica, and Māori students.
Actually, no, this is interesting.
No,
just from the chat. Erica Stanford released Structured Literacy for te reo today. The te reo version.
Okay.
So maybe he's referencing that. But who knows? Like, is this a fair replacement for what was there previous? Or is this something like that classic substitution game of like, yeah, we've increased funding for this very specific module or piece of learning rather than making sure that te reo is supported throughout the curriculum, which is what do you think is the more effective thing to do there? It's strange. It's very strange. That was a weird interview, and that's why they keep them away from interviews as much as possible. Like, as far as a news interview, breakfast is pretty much the second softest interview show you could do, apart from going on the edge and saying some fucking nonsense, which seems to be his go-to. Every time it's a train wreck. He can't answer a question. He's very, very good at staying on message. He's absolutely dreadful at just repeating the same vocal tics. And staying just saying his on a script. Look, what I'd say to you, Jenny May, is blah, 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 wet gumboot noise, Pac-Man death sound effect, and then throw a smoke bomb. It's weird. He's a weird.
The amount of times I've heard Jenny May say in interviews, "Okay, that's great, but could you answer the question?" She is an absolute wolf in sheep's clothing. It's the breakfast show, right? Oh, all good and happy. It's the breakfast show. Morning news. Here's just a general recap of the news. And then it's Jenny May talking to the Prime Minister and absolutely slaughtering him. It's great. She's like, oh, it's lovely to have you on. By the way, what's the deal with Māori Crown relations? Okay, no. And can you answer the question, please? Oh, thanks for having it. Oh, it's lovely to have you on. Bye, Prime Minister.
They should have on the bottom of the screen a flashing chyron and a timer that's just going, Christopher Luxon has not answered the question. Christopher Luxon has not answered the question. Christopher Luxon has not answered the question. Yeah. Just put the question there. Something to drag this man down to the point. Yeah. Keep him away from interviews. Dreadful.
Yeah. What I was going to say about Erica Stanford as well is that the stuff that she's doing, because we're so used to criticizing the government, you kind of go, oh, interesting. That's a good positive thing that she's done, but seems a little bit like antithetical to what the government's done altogether and what her deputy is saying, or what do you call it when it's the deputy minister, the one below?
Oh, yeah. Again, David Seymour being the Associate Education Minister.
Mm-hmm. That's how we got through charter schools and school lunches and all that shit. But Erica seems to be the only one who's got her head stuck on, and she's actually produced something, at least of value, to at least test the theory. And it seems like she's gone in a positive direction. Because at least, she's got resources. She said she wanted to do structured math and literacy. She's produced them.
I find this immediately suspicious.
Well, I think she's actually trying really hard. She's just in a government that's in a completely different direction than what she is. I believe, and I'm happy to be proven wrong in the future, I believe that she is trying in a government that she does not agree with or like have the budget to do the things that she wants to do. I think she's fighting tooth and nail.
There were real questions about these curriculum changes and this mystery handbook that she was producing about where it was coming from.
The curriculum changes 100%. Yes, but the fact that she's actually produced something, I think, is good. And I've heard positive reviews, at least in the math side.
I'm just going to highlight a question that I just saw here in the chat from Tedious Human. Has anyone asked Erica about the lunches? Yes.
No. Oh, they have?
Yes, there has. I saw an official information request go through the website, and I followed that particular line of questioning, and after the exact prescribed time that you have to answer an official information act, she replied, "You will have to take that up with the Associate Education Minister, David Seymour."
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah. So is it this I don't know
anything to do with it. That's what I mean. She doesn't want anything to do with the bad stuff, and she is headstrong on what she is trying to achieve, and she's doing it. Fucking Seymour under her.
Am I wrong in thinking that if you have a minister for something, in this case Erica Stanford, Minister for Education, and then you have an associate Minister for Education, David Seymour, that's a hierarchy? So really, the Minister for Education should be across all of it. Everything to do with education, the buck stops with me, I know, right? So to be able to palm that off to your little gremlin bringing in his right-wing charter schools and $3 lunches, that just seems really weird. I saw a story on another charter school opening the other day, by the way, and they literally highlighted in the article that this is the one in Christchurch with the hard to teach kids with developmental issues and ADD and all of that sort of thing. In that article, they highlighted that they said, "We found that the key to our success with these children is capping the class size at 22 and making sure that we have a teacher and 2 teachers' aides." And like
2.
Yeah, that's
wow.
That's what we're saying. That would be good for all students. Like this is the lesson. Just roll that out. Like, just employ more teachers and more teacher aides, and we will get better results in schools. Like, it's there. The answer's right there. Like, that's why these kids have been struggling. They're challenging. They have various educational challenges. And the teachers got too many kids to be able to give these kids extra help. So now they go off to a charter school and somebody's making money out of them. What a great system. Glorious.
Yeah, I mean, it's as far as the minister and AP go, who's the person you think of when you think of charter schools?
Seymour.
Who's the person you think of when you think of lunches?
Seymour.
Yep. And so Erica has successfully wiped her hands from any responsibility of those 2 things because the association is with him. I think that's very, very intentional. Even though that's not correct, she's a fucking Minister of Education. She should be taking that on her shoulders, and she should be leading the charge and not letting him run rings around her.
Yeah, it's the same thing that Luxon does, though, right? He's the Prime Minister. He should be responsible for everything that happens in his government. He is leading it. It is comprised of 3 political parties. At the moment, something goes wrong. Shane Jones goes off on a fucking rant about Mexicans. Luxon doesn't comment and goes, "You have to take it up with Winston." You know, Seymour goes septic. "Oh, you'll have to take it up with ACT." No, it's your government, my dude. Like, you don't get to go out, "Oh, not my circus, not my monkeys, la 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 la, can't talk to me." No, it's your government. You invited them in.
They're your ministers, right? Just because they're another party's under another party, it doesn't mean that they're not your ministers.
Yeah.
And Shane Jones is a minister. He's the minister. He's not a deputy or an associate. He's the minister for oceans and fisheries. So he is a minister.
Did you see his disgraceful attempt at defending himself over the Mexican comment?
Oh yeah, yeah.
The disgraceful one, where he's like, actually, I have no problem with Mexicans because I had a great time having sex with some of them back in the day.
Oh, what was it?
Gross.
Nocturnal antics. Nocturnal antics.
You know, we like if he just said, yeah, I love Mexicans because I fucked some of them back in the day. I have happy memories. It's somehow worse when he said it the way that he did, because it's like, you know,
and you knew you know how it sounded out of his mouth too. You don't even need to hear it. You can just hear it in your mind of how that came out. Ugh.
And I just have to link you back. Anytime we talk about Shane Jones, you just have to remember that this man survived a political scandal of charging pornography to a government credit card. And he is still in the job. How many jobs do you know where you could go on a work trip and charge porn to the company card and get away with it? Like, that is weird.
Yeah. Different people, different standards, right?
Mm-hmm.
The old boys club. The old boys club.
Oh, okay. Before I go off on another tangent, do we have another story?
No, but we do have a ton of super chats. Can I get through some of them at least?
Go on. I'll try and hold on to my thought.
Don't write it down. Write it down. Mr. Arvids. Oh, I already did this one. Mr. Arvids, you're twice in the list. What's going on? I obviously didn't get rid of these. $3. Super sicker. Love it. Thank you, Dreads Norts. Duke Van Vagabond, $2. Haunted Victorian child makes housing promises. Haunted Victorian child? Nope, can't get it. Chewie might have to tell me that one. Oh, someone might have to explain it. Sorry. Johnny, $5. What's an acceptable level of homelessness? Pricks. Agreed. There is no level acceptable. $2, Mr. Arvids. Doesn't this landlord still live with mummy and daddy? Does he?
Oh yeah, that was good. He was renting his house off a family member.
Renting a house of a family member. Maybe he does know what it's like to not own a home. We're $5. Kainga Ora is a social housing provider. It means both, you dick. Bishflap, the ball bag is up in his game to be the worst ex of a human being. Yep. Worst example of a human being. He's definitely getting up there. We're $2. National voters don't want reminders of poverty. Agreed. Peter says $2. Neoliberalism is immortal and cruel. I hate it. Yes, sadly true. Mr. Arvids, $2. Plot twist. It's all Maori land. That's what I came to a conclusion as well during that interview, when it's like Maori want to do what they want with their land, and I just thought, isn't that all of New Zealand? If that's what you're saying, maybe we should give back the land to them entirely. And one last one that I want to highlight. Ahmed AG for $20. Thank you. You're assuming they will last 2 years, and this is the aroma of 1996 written all over it, and Luxon wasn't living here. Oh, yeah, good point. And he has far more insulting to Winston than Jenny Shipley ever was. Interesting indeed.
So I've got two tangents, by the way. Fair warning. Tim Jago, the
yes,
abuser.
Yep.
Do you remember? And I kind of made sideways reference to this while we're talking about it. The inquiry into the youth wing of ACT. Pretty rapey vibes, sexual assault allegations, bad culture. they did an internal review, an internal investigation that just went somewhere, I assume, was never really made public. Do you know who headed up that investigation?
I have heard it might be the man himself.
Exactly. And the only reason that I can think that they did that was, like, you want to get an expert in, right? Yeah, and he's an expert in bad, creepy sex stuff.
Isn't an
Non-consensual sex
investigation
stuff. So he knows it when he
typically
sees it.
typically done from outside the party? An internal... Was it an internal investigation or was it an external
That was an internal investigation. They didn't get an unbiased party in, like, say, the Greens did.
And this is about an HR issue, right?
Yeah. So just very much on brand. We'll handle it in-house. Oh, I've got an allegation about your president. Here's the phone number for our employment lawyer, who is a family friend.
It is paid by us to make sure that we look good.
Yep. The link, like, when I heard it was a family friend, it's the law firm of David's godmother.
Oh, that's who it was.
So that's good. My second tangent of the evening as we close things out. Where are we going? Share the screen. Love a ferry announcement. Love a ferry announcement. Interislander replacement. Hold on to your hats, folks. This is a good one. Government begins the global hunt for a ferry builder. That's what a ferry looks like, just in case you wanted to know. The government has begun the search for 2 new ferries to replace the problem-plagued Interislander fleet. Now that's an interesting way of why don't they put end of life Interislander fleet, on life support, palliative care Interislander fleet? Rail Minister Steamboat Winnie Peters has said this morning announced that it has started a worldwide search for 2 medium-sized ships that will engage with international shipbuilders that can deliver the ferries by 2029. We would have been receiving the first IREX ferry next year. Just so you got your frame of reference there. This will narrow the list of potential shipbuilders to those able to strike a deal with a government known to pull the pin on deals at a moment's notice via text, ensuring that no time is wasted when we issue the ship specifications later this year. We don't want to waste time. Definitely no time wasting happening here, Steamboat Willie. Woo woo. At the same time, the government is also asking eligible parties such as maritime transport operators and infrastructure investments to put forward alternative ideas for the delivery of ferry services. That's a tricky phrase. That means privatization. Do you just want to buy it because we'll sell it to you? So there you go. Lots of choice phrases there. I especially love that we have begun the search 14 months after Nicola Willis pulled the pin, with no plan, no alternative, and no idea of what was going to happen next. We still don't know how much that decision cost us. That was based on nothing but petty politicking because it was a deal that Labour did. This is the branch to hit this government around the head with for the next 2 years. But they are not wasting any time. They've started looking now. So that's good. What the hell is going on? These guys should be being reamed from every direction. This is bad for everyone. And I think even the middle is starting to notice. The middle is starting to notice how poorly this is run. There is no excuse for what Nicola Willis did. If she came to the table with, I've found a better plan. We found cheaper ferries, better ferries. Sure, go for it. But to cancel a plan that far along with nothing to replace it is just vandalism. There's no other way I can describe it.
She only did it, as far as I can understand it, she only did it so that her 2024 budget looked good and didn't have all the expenses of, you know, building a ferry on it. Yeah.
That's the most short-term of short-term thinking.
They have now pushed it
amazingly
over...
incompetent.
Yeah, I know. And now they've pushed it into as far to the end of their first term as they can, so that if they switch government, it gets put on the next government to say, look how much they're spending on ferries.
Wow.
I reckon that's it. But then again, they also think they're going to be in power for the next term. So if that's the case, then that has failed miserably, and that's betting against yourself, really. So, yeah.
Yep. And yes, look, I can see people mentioning the latest poll results in the chat. Yep, look, that you know what I think of polls, especially polls that sort of say, "Hey, look, the left bloc can govern." No, they can't. But it is showing a trend, and it's the trend that we want to look at, and that's the trend that I'm alluding to when I say, "Hey, look, even the middle is starting to work out how woefully incompetent this government is." So yeah, you'll all have friends that sit on the fence and make their political mind up by going, I wouldn't mind sharing a beer with that man. Just point out what a dreadful conversation Luxon would give you over a pint.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
Yeah, I do like those polls though, and when they put those headlines up, because I hope it makes people start to think, oh yeah, I guess Chippy is kind of better.
Not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only good thing I can see about those polls. So yeah.
But yes, I'm currently on the vibe of a hard charging resurgent Green Party. That's what I want. They had a horror year last year for very little fault of their own. And I would hope that that has really focus have tempered them into this year, that they are sharp.
Yep. I can totally see them come back. And they handled it so well too. So let's paint a picture of how shittily ACT has handled their current controversy. And keep showing how shit of a leader David Seymour is and should not be our Deputy Prime Minister. All right, let's get to the last of these super chats and then we're off for the night. Religion. I did see a super chat. $2. Mao has some good ideas about landlords. Who's Mao?
And factory owners. Not so much about sparrows, but yeah.
Thank you. Very uncultured. Mr. Arvid's $2. They asked me before 1840, actually. Mr. Arvid's $5. Peter Tipene, Waitangi Chair, asked DS to go, actually. Why is he being so charitable to him at this point? I don't know. Maybe because he's like, people are like, actually, no, we do want to like yell at his face and tell him that he's a fucking...
Yeah, maybe it's a trap. Maybe it's a trap.
Yep. Duke von Vagabond, $2. What I would say to you is the economy, economy grow the economy. Nicola Willis, no votes. It's in the ballot, $5. I wonder if David Seymour, higher cabinet ranking at 3 is why he's able to run roughshod over Erica Stanford, ranked it's number 7. Probably. Yep. Definitely. Cal Lehman, $5. My stepmother is Mexican, and I can assure you she's sending a very tertiary? Angry.
Terse?
Terse
email?
I think, yeah, terse email to the ambassador. So, yeah. And last, Frosty NZ, $10. Thanks, Frosty. Asset sales and privatisation should only ever happen in the most exceptional of cases, and if the private company drastically improves the asset. Fortunately, in 99% of the cases, this never happens. Yep, because running social services is not profitable.
Yep. And it shouldn't be, because you're monetizing poverty, sickness. Just don't do it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And these libertarian right-wing chuds, that's what they want. And we can just look over the globe at the shit show that the Americas are at the moment and go, yeah, okay, we don't want to do that. Last thing before we go, and honestly, last thing. You know Trump's trade war that he kicked off? 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico? Gone. Back down.
Yeah.
He's back down instantly.
Yeah.
Mexico sent troops to the border. Canada promised reciprocal tariffs. And then at the same time of like, or you could fucking talk to us, like use diplomacy and say that you'd like some changes around the border, and we'll do that. Just like, it's like dealing with an angry toddler. But yeah, big man back down. That's the fucking headline there.
I think what I saw was the Mexican president got her info out before he did, or a tweet out before he did, and happened to outline all of the things that they said. And one of them was like, yep, we'll put troops on the border to ensure the supply of fentanyl doesn't cross the border. And then Trump's tweet said they're going to put Mexicans on the military on the border to stop fentanyl and immigrants or illegal migrants. So, yeah.
Even from a diplomacy point of view, getting that out before Trump can is a diplomatic middle finger. Like, we should release our statements at the same time. Sure, buddy. Send. Fuck you.
I liked how all three tweets, or all three messages from the Canadian, Mexican, and Trump was, I had a good conversation with the other person. Like, I highly doubt there was a good conversation. It's a good outcome, not a good conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look forward.
All right, that's us. I got no more tangents to give, people.
No more tangents to give. Well, in that case, let's send out the show.
Help us settle a debate, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together. For better, push aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary of. Like the rich have the hand out for rewards, while the many have to work out what they can't afford. And the rest of us ain't paying attention, or maybe have questions we're too worried to mention. Other media is still dwelling on trivial facts, vetting peas from the rice and the mice from the rats, and picking and choosing a warpath to run, and linking ourselves with the hill to die on. It's gotta come down to a welcoming vibe, with an A and a self and a higher in mind. All heavily either this way or that, and we'll be analyzed by what Chewie and Pat. With the evil in the world trying to mess with your head, and you're sitting on the couch, you're thinking chivalry's dead. Each night, 2 nights, they're gonna sing you to bed. It's Big Hairy News.
Thanks for joining us tonight for this very great start to the Big Hairy News and a wonderful end to a Big Hairy News. And we will see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. with Chewie.
Hey, that's me.
I miss you. Anything to add? You good?
No. Go to bed. Go to bed. Work in the morning.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you. Bye. Bye.
Cheers, man.